Alright, Foundry project reviews is what we're going to talk about today. Project reviews are an important piece of the Foundry management materials. Any of you that have watched the videos about the Foundry, about applying, and about the management structure will recognize words like MOCR, management report, and also project review, and the CEO meeting. Those are the four basic methodologies that the Foundry uses to help you manage your company. So I'm going to explain the project review in this video, just to give you an idea of what it's for and how it's run. The project review is a once-monthly meeting that lasts anywhere between an hour and 2 hours. It's essentially a board meeting. It's supposed to imitate governance structure inside of your company. So it's a meeting where you and your team get together and sit in front of various folks. We'll talk about who and present on progress, problems, various things that are happening inside of your company. So that's the idea, is it's a monthly sort of meeting of the minds around your business. We provide a template for this process, but it's not really necessary to use that template. It's just something that we give all the Foundry teams as sort of a starting point. They can elect to use. It often makes it easier for them to put together their first few project reviews. It should become clear after the first few what the big discussion subjects are and where the problems are, so often the template will change. So what are the goals of the project review? Why do we use this as a tool and why is it important? The first is we're trying to model the world of reporting and governance. And what that means is any time that you're running a company or even in charge of a group of people at any job, there's an element of planning and execution and reflection that involves or surrounding any task. So what we're modeling here is this process of trying to accomplish something and plan for it, going out and executing that from one point in time to the next, and then looking back and saying, hey, did we accomplish what we wanted to accomplish, and if not, why? If so, what are we going to do next? This process of planning, execution, and reflection is extremely important. A lot of teams claim that they're too busy to do it and never really get around to a proper, consistent methodology to go through planning, execution, and reflection. And really that's what, out in the real world in terms of business, that's what board meetings and even team meetings are for. The second thing is to help teams decide if they're on track and to stay on track. I know that seems sort of obvious, but often you'll have discord amongst team members about whether or not what you're doing is working, is going quickly enough, whether you're on track, whether you're behind. People will disagree about that. So it's important to get some consistency around agreeing as a team what on track means and what you're supposed to be accomplishing. And also to go through this process of executing and reflecting around staying on track. Also, if you put a system around it, like a project review, it's very difficult to get off track without knowing why. You're not going to say, geez, we missed this big deadline and we don't know what we didn't do, because you would have gone through the process of building a plan to get toward that deadline and discussing it with the team. Third big thing is provide a way for advisors to engage with the company. This is important. Often people running young companies will be inefficient in the way that they use mentors, coaches, or advisors' time. What that does is annoys the mentor or coach or advisor, who's usually a busy person, and will sometimes drive them away from participating in your company. So instead, this gives them a consistent, short, effective, organized way to participate. And of course, they have to attend to do that. So one of the big ideas around the project review is inviting all those folks and making sure they attend. And we'll talk about sort of what that tells you about commitment level from that group of people as well. The fourth part is surface and resolve difficult problems with coaching. So this is also important. It teaches teams to recognize, surface a problem, and then also to work through solving a problem with coaches in the room and taking input from others. So the MOCR and the management report, which we've already talked about, really keep these people up to date, investors, advisors, mentors, and coaches. They shouldn't need to know all the details of what you've been doing last week, because that sort of stuff has been available for them to read in the past. Instead, what we're doing is we're putting a standard format that makes it efficient around discussing these big problems. So although there is an element of saying, hey, here's where we are, the larger focus of the meeting is around resolving those problems and using your coach's brainpower to do that. Even at established companies, sometimes this is a struggle to use board and mentor time, advisory board time efficiently. And then the last thing we're trying to accomplish is management best practice. This is a part of what the Foundry is supposed to be doing. We're imprinting on the teams and on people starting these companies how to run better meetings and better board meetings. If this is their first exposure to this type of thing, fantastic. This is a great model for how to stay efficient around a team meeting, around a board meeting. And those are skills that you can really carry to any job. So even if you don't end up becoming an entrepreneur or founding a company, this process is something that you'll use pretty much anywhere you work. Two important things to mention. One is publish these materials, the slideshow, at least 24 hours prior so people can read through them and get acquainted with them so you don't spend the whole meeting going through your slides. And then the second one is around inviting people who participate. This is important. Often people won't attend or won't participate, in which case that's sort of an indication of how committed to helping you they are in this coaching session. So really concentrate on the people around you that are willing to participate, although it helps to have a lot of opinions around the table. So that's really what the project review is for. It's a quick one. It's essentially we're imitating board meetings and governance structure, and we're trying to create a system that allows you to be efficient utilizing coaches and mentors and folks like that to help you grow your business. This is actually a really important piece of the Foundry. Every bit as important as some of our document structure, because this is where you really use the power of your peers and of the people around you to help you with your business.